Hi, this is Brian Kim. I'm going to share with you case number 63 in the Best Way to Do Cataract Surgery series. Traditional techniques, whenever the lens is kind of stuck in the bag, traditional techniques have always been to use the phaco tip, to use high vacuum or phaco to grasp the lens pieces. And I really think that's really a big mistake. I never advocate for that. And so you're going to see using the chopper is a much better way to manipulate the lens pieces up out of the bag rather than using the phaco tip. Why? Because with the chopper, you can mechanically lift up pieces up out of the bag without using ultrasonic energy or vacuum. As you can see, I'm making a corneal mark to help me center and size my rhexis. I'm going to make a paracentesis incision, first on the right side and then the left side. You can see here I have a little bit of an eyelash exposed from my drape. I really don't like that. And so I always try to make sure all the lashes are out of the field when I'm doing cataract surgery. I want to be very meticulous about draping because lashes are the source for endophthalmitis. And so you can see I stop and remove those lashes there. I'm injecting some intracameral lidocaine and then some dispersive viscoelastic to fill the anterior chamber. And this is a triplanar corneal incision. I make a vertical groove, place the blade into the deep part of the groove, tunnel through the cornea, and then enter. This is my puncture style Capsulorhexis. I enter with the teeth sideways. I'm going to puncture the central capsule, pulling down towards me. It went a little bit to the left, and so I have to grasp the right side of the tear, and then I'm starting to go around circumferentially, trying to follow the contour of the corneal mark that I made before. So I'm just grabbing and re-grabbing every few clock hours. Then I'll finish off the rhexis and burp a little viscoelastic. And this is a Capsulorhexis hydrodissection technique. I'll place the cannula out underneath the rhexis edge on the contralateral side, point it down, get a nice fluid wave, decompress on the left side, and then spin the lens on the right side. And I went ahead and did a hydrodelineation wave. Using the hydrodelineation wave, at the edge of the hydrodelineation wave, you can use that as your reference point where you need to place the chopper for the double chop technique. So I lift the incision with the chopper, irrigation off, go in to minimize Descemet's trauma, remove the surface epinuclear material, place the chopper out to the hydrodelineation edge, place the phaco tip vertically subincisionally, bring both instruments together, cracking the lens and chopping the lens completely. That's the double chop. I place the chopper around the equator, around the right heminucleus, pull it centrally. That's the cross chop. I place the chopper around that first quadrant, pulling it up and crushing the lens against the phaco tip, and then I'm starting to emulsify the lens pieces. Now they're smaller in size. There's a fragment from that first quadrant. I'm lifting up, crushing it between the chopper and the phaco tip, and emulsifying the lens piece. Placing the chopper underneath the second quadrant, pulling it centrally towards the phaco tip, crushing it, using mechanical fracturing forces, and then emulsifying the lens piece. So here the second heminucleus doesn't want to come out. And so I could re-hydrodissect the lens, but in this case what I did was, because I hydrodelineated, I'm just using the chopper and the phaco tip to very carefully lift it up out of the bag, and then place the chopper around the lens, crushing it against the phaco tip and dividing that second heminucleus. Take the chopper around that quadrant there, crushing it against the phaco tip, making it into smaller size pieces, and then emulsifying the lens piece. So you can see that the lens piece didn't want to move, but because I did a hydrodelineation, I was able to find the edge of the hydrodelineation, use a chopper to separate it from the bag, and very carefully tease it up using the chopper and phaco tip, mechanically lifting it up out of the bag. I prefer doing that versus going after pieces with high vacuum or ultrasonic energy. I think going after pieces in the bag with high vacuum can be dangerous, and there is a small risk of rupturing the capsular bag if you're not careful. When you're using the chopper, you really don't have any risk in doing that. So all the lens pieces have been emulsified, again using mechanical fracturing forces, and now I'm using the phaco tip to very carefully, using high vacuum, teasing that epinucleus up. You can see it's quite adherent, and that was the reason why that second heminucleus didn't want to come up. The epinucleus is pretty adherent to the bag still, despite a good hydrodissection and spinning of the lens. I take the chopper out, push BSS in, take the phaco tip out, and go in with the INA handpiece. So in cortex mode, I'm very carefully and gingerly sweeping underneath the rhexis edge, polishing and removing the cortical material. But you can see that the posterior capsule is a little bit floppy and it came to the port there. So I'm just being very, very careful as I'm doing my cortical cleanup here. Once I'm satisfied all the cortex is removed, I switch to the polish mode and polishing underneath the rhexis edge. Now I'm polishing in a subincisional posterior capsule. There tends to be some fine adhesion sometimes in this area. With the polymer tip, I can very confidently polish the posterior capsule surface. I push BSS through my paracentesis incision, placing it in the subincisional capsular fornix, pulsing it with BSS, and lo and behold, you can see some of those fine cortical materials start to come out. So I'm injecting now some cohesive viscoelastic to fill the bag. And then I'm going to use a sweeper to polish underneath the rhexis edge of any lens epithelial cells and cortical material there. I see some material in the subincisional area, and so you can see I was polishing quite a bit, was able to tease up that fine little bit of cortical material. I switch to the right side now. I'm injecting the single piece acrylic intraocular lens into the capsular bag, injecting the leading edge into the bag, the trailing edges out of the bag. I go in with the INA, activate irrigation, disengage the leading and then trailing haptics off the optic, go underneath the optic, tilting it and then rotating it 90 degrees, going underneath the lens, removing all the viscoelastic from within the bag. Repositing the optic within the bag and then polishing underneath the rhexis edge here. And then I'm rotating the haptics in a more horizontal orientation. And then removing all the viscoelastic from the anterior chamber. So you can see, even though I had a good hydrodissection and spinning of the lens can still be sticky and stubborn and adherent to the capsular bag. But because I did a hydrodelineation wave, I was able to very carefully hook the edge of the endonucleus with the chopper and prolapsed it up out of the bag, and then started to do mechanical fracturing to remove the lens pieces. This was a fairly dense lens, but was able to use double chop, cross chop, and mechanical fracturing forces and fairly easily disassemble this lens. You also saw that there was some fine cortical material in the subincisional fornix, and I did the capsular sweep or the cortical flush technique, and I was able to remove the remaining cortical material in the subincisional space. So you can see this mechanical fracturing techniques using the chopper almost like a finger to hook pieces up out of the bag is really, in my opinion, the safest and most versatile and easy way to pull pieces up out of the bag. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I thank you for your attention.